They're probably the last shipment we'll be getting in from Washington this year. I could make you a good price on the barrel, ma'am.
Well, I don't think we could use the whole barrel, but...
Oh, they're good keepers.
I think,
Hi.
And they're so tasty. Maybe if you just want a bushel or two, eh?
Oh, no, thanks. I don't even like apples.
How about a bushel of rubies, then?
You haven't changed a bit.
You have. You're prettier.
I knew it. I knew it was you the minute I heard your voice.
I knew it was you from across the street. The way you tilt your head. What are you doing in town? How long you been here?
2 days. I'm going to live here.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
I've thought about you a lot. It'd be silly to say I haven't. Just wondered what you were doing. Guess I figured you'd be married and settled down by now.
Are you married?
No, same old bachelor. It's good to see you. Come on.
What?
Let's go have a cup of coffee and sit and talk for about 10 or 12 hours.
I can't, Joe. I'm sorry, but I can't. Not now.
Why not?
It's so good to see you.
You're home early. Hey, now, what's the trouble?
Wait. We can't stay in Virginia City.
Marshal. Thank you. Sheriff Coffey said that you could have the office and any help I could give you.
It's very kind of you.
I got a couple things to take care of down the street.
See you later, Clem.
Yeah.
See you later.
Candy. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Clem.
Oh, my son Joseph. Marshal Calhoun.
Marshal.
Joe. Now, what's said here is not to be repeated outside of this office. Is that understood?
Mm-hmm.
It concerns a currency shipment, $90,000 from the Mint in San Francisco to the Virginia City Bank. Now, word might have leaked out about this, so we're taking some unusual precautions. Using an ordinary buckboard with 2 men, a driver and a guard. If you look at the map here, they'll be leaving Truckee from the south, and with your permission, turn here, take that private road of yours all the way across the Ponderosa, and come into Virginia City from the west.
Long way around, huh? Well, since we know that road pretty well, why don't we have Hoss and Joe and Candy there patrol it and make sure there are no strangers around?
Well, thank you. That was my next request. And my deputy, Wade McPhail, can make the final sweep.
Well, we'll be waiting. Anything else?
That's it.
Fine. Go, boys.
Mr. Cartwright.
You coming, Joe?
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything we can do, you know that.
What's the matter with you anyhow?
Nothing. Nothing. I'm fine.
He does look a little dazed.
Yeah.
What's the matter? You get kicked by a mule, buddy?
No, I didn't get kicked by a mule. Guess who I just saw?
Who?
Emily Anderson.
Here? In Virginia City?
20 minutes ago in front of the Mercantile.
Did I hear you say Emily Anderson?
Yeah? She's in town. She's gonna live here. I'll tell you about it on the way home.
Who's Emily Anderson?
A gal that Joe met down in Monterey about 4 or 5 years ago. He's gonna marry her. Paul wrote a letter inviting she and her family up. Letter came back unopened. He ain't never heard from her since.
What's his name?
That won't add anything.
Now, you let me be the judge of that. What's his name?
Joe Cartwright.
Cartwright. Cartwright's a pretty important people.
I guess they are.
Knowing somebody like that, how come you married me?
Because I wanted to marry you. Please, Wade, believe me, that's why I want to get away.
Oh, I'd believe you. Look, we're in a new town. I've got a new job. Deputy Marshal in charge of the new Virginia City office. You meet Joe Cartwright on the street. You want me to give up something I've been working for 9 years to get?
Yes. Because I love you. Because I don't want anything to happen to our
Well,
marriage.
what's going to happen? No, he's not going to bother you. I guarantee you, he's not going to bother you.
It's not that.
Well, what is it? Well, come on, Em, speak to me.
I'm not sure how I feel about him.
Fire never went out. You're still in love with him.
No, I didn't say that. Wade. Now listen to me. I'm not sure how I feel.
There's still some fire left. You're still in love with him.
Wade. Now listen. I'm not sure. If Joe Cartwright and I see each other, well, now that's the truth. And that's a fair warning. And that's why I want to leave. Please, Wade.
A man walks by and we pick up and run. No, Em. We're staying right here.
Are you so sure of me?
If Joe Cartwright can take you away from me, then our marriage isn't much. We'd better find out. You might start by putting things away. This place looks less like a freight shed and more like a home. I'll be back around midnight.
The burial chamber is located in the center of the Great Pyramid, and it is here that the mummy of the Pharaoh Khufu, or as the Greeks called him, Cheops, was laid to rest with all the treasure and plunder of his reign. I visited the chamber, a dark, oppressive room lit only by torches, long since looted of all its wealth, weighed down by tons of masonry. May I have the next slide, please? One of the women of Cairo. They always go about in public totally veiled. If I had so much as caught a glimpse of her face, it would have meant instant death.
I've got to stop a few minutes, Doctor.
We have to pause, ladies and gentlemen, to make some adjustment in the mechanism. Would someone turn on the house lights, please?
Can you imagine that? Piling up all them rocks just to bury yourself.
Bring us up.
the farthest thing from my mind.
I wrote you so many times, I didn't get any answer.
Were the letters returned?
Yes, I wrote the Parkers, the people I stayed with in Monterey. They said you'd gone. They didn't know where.
San Francisco. Oh, Joe is my father. He didn't mind you squiring me around. The dances, the picnics, the riding together. Oh, Joe, that was the most wonderful time of my life.
Oh, it was mine, too. Oh, it was mine, too.
The last night, before you left, when you brought up the subject of marriage. Well, he moved us inside of a week. He said you were too impulsive, too wild. I tried to sneak you a letter, but he burned it. I even tried to run away. He locked me in my room.
Oh, Emily, I don't care. I don't care. All I know is that I have you now and I'm holding you.
Oh, Joe. Oh, I had to see you tonight.
And in the spring, this great temple is almost totally submerged by the floodwaters of the Nile. In fact, here you see a native boat moored in the very gateway of the same temple you just saw.
I love you.
One of the greatest edifices ever erected in the history of man.
Fight! 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 Joe Cartwright's having a fight with some fella out here in the street.
Uh-oh. Put it down. Fail. Go down to the office and wait for him.
Now, wait a minute. I want to find out what this is all about.
I'll tell you what this is all about. That's my wife. Marshal says I'm a fool to get in a street fight and to lose my dignity, but he's going to keep me on. Thanks a lot, Em.
Don't call me that. I despise it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Emily, you shamed me tonight. You shamed yourself.
Wasn't my fault. You wouldn't listen to me.
Oh, well, it's not going to happen again. You know, your father told me. He said that what you need is a rough bit in the mouth and a strong hand on the reins. And from now on, that's what you're going to get. Put on your ring. Did you hear me? mine, and it stays right there. You leave it there.
You're hurting me.
Behave like a wife should, and I won't have to. Now get him.
Please don't be angry.
What are you doing out here?
I had to come to apologize. Joe, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you I was married.
Oh, that's all right. Anybody else in your family you haven't told me about?
No.
No children, nothing?
No, and you are angry, and I can't blame you.
You should have told me, Emily.
Joe, if I told you, would you have held me in your arms? And would you have told me that you still love me?
No.
Well, that's why. Joe. Joe, I had to know. I know that I love you.
All right, it's been said. I don't think either one of us is the better for it.
Joe, wait.
We've got nothing to talk about, Emily. You're married. Your husband made that very clear the other night.
Joe, do you think my marriage was made in heaven? It wasn't. It was made by signing a county register with my father at my elbow. It was made by a little man droning words that I was just too tired to care about. Don't you understand why I had to talk to you? Don't you see?
All I see is that you're married.
Joe. Joe, we can get it back. We deserve it. Joe, let's go away. Anywhere you say.
Just like that, huh?
This very instant. I've as much as told Wade that there's nothing left, and what I haven't said, he must know. Joe, marriage is in the heart. True marriage. And you're in my heart. And I don't think you can look at me and say that I'm not in yours.
No, Emily, you're there.
Which way do we go, darling? North? South?
We go in opposite directions, Emily. Go home to your husband.
Joe.
Take it easy. I'll get you some help.
Throw down your guns, both of you.
That's my brother.
I know that, but I don't know you that well. And I'm a careful man. Now go ahead and help him.
Is he alive?
Yeah, but barely. He's hurt bad. I gotta get him to a doctor in a hurry.
We will.
Occurs to me you're an awful long way from where you're supposed to be.
So was Joe Cartwright. And so was this.
He hasn't moved or said a word.
That's understandable. Shock, heavy loss of blood, that long, rough ride in a buckboard. I'll stay with him tonight.
Thank you, Doctor.
He's young and healthy, Ben. Rest is what he needs now. And what I need is coffee and a sandwich.
Oh, huh. Deputy, come in.
How's your brother?
Well,
He's resting, Marshal. Will be for some time.
Did he say anything?
Well, he was unconscious and has been all along, hasn't said a word.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But he will make it, won't he?
I'm sure he will.
Well, how soon can I talk to him?
Tomorrow, maybe. More probably the day after.
That long?
Not even then if he develops a fever.
Well, I'm sure he'll be all right. I just want to get the doctor some food. Huh?
You two saw the buckboard?
that's right. Ken and I rode out early. Went along either side of the road to make sure there was no ambush. We rode all the way from the Grove to Center Road.
When we saw the buckboard coming, we got way back up off the road in case they might be a little nervous.
We saw them both. They waved to us. They were all right at that time.
Joe was, 10, 20 minutes behind us. And your deputy was supposed to be the same distance behind him.
Well, then if you rode all the way from the Grove, you went past the place where it happened.
That's right. Right by it. As a matter of fact, we flushed a flock of crows right there on that spot, didn't we?
Yeah, if there'd been anybody around there, the crows would have been gone.
Matches what I found out there. Tracks left by a wagon, a team, and 4 different riders. You, Hoss, your brother, and my deputy. Nobody else. That kind of narrows it down to 2 suspects. My deputy and Joe Cartwright.
Well, I know Joe Cartwright, and I don't know your deputy, so I vote for him.
With me, it's the other way around. I don't know Joe Cartwright. I do know Wade McPhail. He's worn that badge and worked for me for 9 years. 9 years of excellent record.
Marshal, your deputy McPhail was 4 or 5 miles from where you're supposed to have been.
Tell him what you told me.
The buckboard was late?
That's right. It was.
I figured something went wrong, and I went to find out.
McPhail, wait for me outside. I'll be with you in a minute.
Marshal, I don't know whether your deputy shot that driver in the guard or not, but I do know that he tried to shoot Joe Cartwright in the street last night.
We've heard his story. We haven't heard Joe Cartwright's yet. In case you're wondering, I don't believe anything until it's been proven. I'll keep an eye on both of them.
Hello, Wade.
Evening, Em. Excuse me, Emily.
Oh, hey, that's all right. There's mail on the table.
What happened to all the fire and fury?
The storm's blown over.
That was a pretty fair gale while it lasted. He's a good-looking fella, that young Cartwright. Of course, he's not exactly 7 feet tall like you led me to believe. I don't think he'd light up a room just by walking in.
Wade, please don't make fun of me.
Pot roast?
And brown gravy.
It's my favorite meal.
I know.
So, we're gonna pick up the pieces and put them back together and start all over again, huh?
I'd like to. Wade, I think we can.
Maybe you're right. I thought you'd have more done by now.
Oh, I should have. I went out.
Shopping in town?
Yes.
What'd you buy?
Oh, I was looking for some material for those curtains upstairs, but I couldn't find a thing I liked.
Want to try that again?
Wade, don't play cat and mouse with me.
It's part of my trade. Only works when the mouse has something to hide. I saw you with him.
You followed me.
Duty took me out that way. Sit down.
I'll have to take off the rope.
No, the pot roast can wait. Sit down. Quite know what to do with you. I could throw you and your clothes out on the road. You've given me cause enough encouraging another man.
No, I didn't encourage him.
Well, you certainly did last night.
But not today. He told me to meet him.
Did he?
Yes.
I forbade it. And he just crooks his finger and you go scooting off to meet him.
He said if I didn't, he'd make trouble for you after last night.
You threatened me?
Well, not in so many words, but it was plain enough. I went because I was afraid for you, Wade. They're such a powerful family.
Yes. I'm beginning to learn that.
If he'd come here, I could have told him right then that I didn't want to see him again. But it was a note pushed under the door. I didn't even see who brought it.
Signed by him?
Well, of course. Oh, I should have known you want to see it. I burned it. I was ashamed.
Well, that helps. A little. What did he want to see you about?
He wanted me to go away with him. But I told him no, and that was the end of it.
Did he say when?
Right then.
Did he say where?
South, New Orleans.
Just that far? New Orleans?
I didn't really listen.
South America. Family like his, scandal and all, that's what I'd do.
Well, he did say something about a ship.
Go on.
A fine house, servants.
High living costs a lot of money. Even rich men don't have that much cash in their pockets. Did he show you the money?
Wait, I told him I wouldn't go away with him.
I have to know. Did he have the money? Did he say he could get it?
What difference could it make?
Tell me.
He said there'd be lots of money.
Would be, for sure.
Yes. How many times do I have to tell you?
Once more, and not just to me.
Go and take the supper off the stove and get your shawl.
How long after you left Joe did you hear the shots?
It was a long time.
Did you give any thought to them?
No, I just supposed it was somebody hunting.
Emily, I know this has been very unpleasant and embarrassing for you. And for you, Wade. But what you've told me could be very important.
There's something going on that I haven't been told about. What is it?
You didn't tell her?
Well, no. I figured what she has to say would mean more if she didn't know.
I see. Emily, there was an attempted robbery on the Ponderosa today. 2 men were killed.
Joe Cartwright.
He's seriously wounded, unable to talk as yet. However, the doctor says he will recover. Now, you haven't been under oath here. Is there anything you'd like to add to what you've already told me? Or change?
No.
All right, Emily, thank you. You made my job a lot easier. Wade, you can take her home. I'll let you know if I need her again.
Well, come on, Billy. Let's go.
Thanks, man.
You see who shot you?
No. All I could see was the guard and the driver. I fired the warning shots. Next thing I knew, I was here.
2 more questions, Marshal. That's all.
Before the shooting, you talked to Mrs. McPhail. What about?
That's personal. It has nothing to do with the shooting.
Might be helpful if you did answer.
She wanted to leave her husband. I talked her out of it.
That's all, Marshal. You can try again tomorrow.
All right, I'll be back tomorrow. And I'll keep coming back until I know exactly what happened out there.
Cartwright found the driver and the guard shot, but Cartwright didn't see who shot him.
That's right. And there were no strangers out there. That's been established. The driver or the guard might have shot.
Or I could have. You Cartwrights are big people around here, and I'm just a stranger, and you've got the hangman's knot all but tied.
Well, that's not true.
Mr. Cartwright, I've got a question for you. It might throw some light on this. Answer it for me if you're not afraid to.
You ask it and I'll answer it.
You're rich. But would your son be able to lay his hands on enough money to pay for 2 people to go to South America and keep them living in style for 2 or 3 years?
No.
All right. Take that with what my wife told you, and you got motive for robbery and murder.
Your wife said she refused to go with Joe Cartwright.
So she did. But if a man is foolish enough to think a married woman might run off with him, he's a fool enough to think that $90,000 in cold, hard cash might persuade her.
Well, you just think whatever you want to think. Marshal, I'll see you at the Ponderosa in the morning.
Sit down. Deputy, could we be alone for a few minutes?
Certainly, Marshal.
You've been wearing that badge for 9 years. You should know there are 2 ways to investigate a crime. One way, the wrong way, you keep bending everything you find to make it fit the way you want it to fit. Now, that's what you're doing.
Am I?
The other way, you keep an open mind. You keep digging until you have all of the evidence from all of the witnesses. Now, you may not find what you want to find.
You're going to find Joe Cartwright innocent.
Let's have that badge.
How is he?
Better?
He's going to be all right.
Yes, he's going to be all right. I came here, Mrs. McPhail, because I wanted to find out why you lied about my son.
Mr. Cartwright.
Now, I know Joseph. Why did you lie?
I didn't say anything that would hurt him.
Everything you said placed him under suspicion of murder. You painted the picture of an excited young man, eager to run off with another man's wife. And those who don't know my son could very easily believe that. And there are some who could look at you and find you motive enough for robbery and murder.
Well, I know that's not a compliment.
No. I didn't come here to flatter you, Mrs. McPhail. I came to find out how long you're going to stick to that story.
It's not a story.
You're going to have to tell it in court. Under oath, Mrs. McPhail. With Joseph there, looking at you, listening to you. Are you going to be able to do that?
Don't badger my wife, Mr. Cartwright.
All I ask is that you tell the truth.
I did.
Cartwright. Not till I tell you. Calhoun took my job, my badge. No surprise. I knew it was going to happen.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Get out.
I'm sorry for you both.
What's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Everybody. The Cartwrights, the sheriff, the doctor, they're all out at the scene.
Seen the shootings? So?
Well, they didn't ask you to go.
I didn't expect them to.
Oh, but they should have. Unless they were expecting to find something that... Did you do it, Wade?
Me? $90,000 in cold cash, and the thought never crossed my mind. You asked if I did it. Do you know Joe Cartwright didn't? Could you still see him when you heard those shots?
It's not what you told me in the marshal. Another lie, Emily?
Soft ground, man leaning hard on that shovel made a good print. It looks a little big. But I have the left boot of one of those other pairs.
Marshal, Mr. Cartwright, my wife has something to tell you.
I lied. Joe didn't want to go away with me. It was the other way around. And I could still see him when I heard the shots. He couldn't have killed those men.
Thank you, Mrs. McPhail.
But Wade didn't do it either.
No, we know that. Joe told us something this morning. We let me help. He told us he'd never been near that hole that they were digging to bury the money in. These are the boots he was wearing that day.
There were boot prints all over the place. I saw them myself.
Yeah, but Joe's boots didn't fit any of them.
Those do?
These do.
Who do they belong to?
Belong to the driver and guard. The way it looks, the driver did the digging, and my guess is the guard stood over him with a gun.
Yeah. I know it won't help much, but I'm sorry.
I think we're all sorry about a lot of things.
Wade. I think you'll be needing this.
Time I got my patient back to Ponderosa.
I know how you must feel about me. So, why don't I go on ahead, and I'll be packed and out of the house by the time you get there.
You're probably right about how I feel. You don't have to go.
Wait. I do want another chance. And if you'll give me another chance, I promise.
No, Emily. Don't make promises you can't keep. All I ask is just say you'll try.
I will try.